Hi, I'm Diane, your host of Epic Conversations. And today we're talking with Ken Davis. Ken is a local businessman who spends his free time teaching others about the U.S. Constitution. We've already done 7 episodes with Ken teaching all about the U.S. Constitution. But today we're going to talk about Ken. And thank you again, Ken, for coming back.
Thank you for having me.
Ken has his own business, so Kendrick Davis Agency with American Family Insurance. And follow him on Facebook. It's Kendrick Davis on Facebook. And so that's awesome. Now, Ken, what brought you to Colorado? And I mean, how did you even start? You've been in business like, what, 8 years, was it?
No, so I started my agency here in 2008.
Okay.
I was an agent in Wisconsin for 8 years before coming here with a different carrier.
Oh, okay.
So started over in 2008.
How do you start all over again? Tell us, because there's other people who are probably going to move and need to start over. How did you do it? I mean, that requires strength and courage.
Or a whole lot of prayer.
And a lot of prayer, too.
and really, the coming here was all about God. God told us actually to come to Colorado. And so the starting over was just part of it. But we came to a place, a land that we did not know, right? And so we moved somewhere where we didn't know anyone, no family, no friends. Originally from Wisconsin. Both sides of my family, on my father's and mother's side, are, for the most part, are there. But God told us to come to Colorado.
That's your faith.
Yeah. I questioned him. Hey, why? I've never been to Colorado at the time. We'd never been here. But it has been, and it's been fantastic. We love it here. We especially love there's virtually no mosquitoes. That's helpful.
That's good. No mosquitoes.
And you don't realize how great it is to not have humidity until you don't have humidity.
Oh, that's right. Oh, Wisconsin has humidity and mosquitoes.
Yes. And some of those mosquitoes are larger than you. So, we've got it's a very different place. But again, I've been doing this for 8 years. I do attribute the fact that we came here by the prompting of the Holy Spirit, which is why I'm still in business. Right, most small businesses fail within the first couple of years.
Isn't that so?
But my business has done fairly well. It's thrived. I've already put one kid through college, and so God has been blessing. God has truly been in the middle of my business.
Well, tell us about your business, because you work with American Family Insurance. So what types of insurance do you offer to clients?
So I primarily focus on property, casualty, and life, and I'll explain it. So property and casualty involves auto, home, business. Those are things that fall under property and casualty. And then, of course, life insurance, where we do offer both term and whole life products. And so, again, been doing it now. As of September 1, 20 years. I know it's crazy because I still look 26, but I've been doing it now for 20 years. Thoroughly enjoy what I do. I've always wanted to be in a position to help people. And I've had the opportunity to help people through some really tough situations because of what it is I do.
That's awesome, because you are a people person.
Thank you.
So God must have put that in you that, like you said, you want to help people.
Yeah.
So can you think of an example of a client, without giving their names, of course, and that like they went from this to this?
If you live here in Colorado, there are times when a wildfire may pop up.
Oh.
And we actually had consecutive years where we had wildfires. One was the Waldo Canyon fire, and then we also had the Black Forest fire.
Yeah, I remember the Black.
And I will tell you, the first time we moved here in 08, the first time I drove through Black Forest, having never, because we don't have wildfires in Wisconsin, but having never dealt with a wildfire, first time I drove through Black Forest, the first thing that popped into my head is, if one of these places go up, this whole area is going up. I mean, there's so many trees and pine trees.
Mhm.
So in the Black Forest, during the Black Forest fire, I have a client, husband and wife, and I think they were only in this home a little over a year when that fire occurred.
Oh, no.
And they happen to be in what we would normally view as a cul-de-sac, but it's a dirt road that leads up to their home, and there are 4 or 5 other homes in there. And when the Black Forest fire happened, we were getting what felt like hourly updates, and the news was sending out a list of these homes. These homes have been affected. These homes haven't been affected. Well, I had a client. That particular client was on the first list of homes affected.
Oh.
And the wife calls and she is crying.
Mhm.
You know, they hadn't been in this home more than a year or so. And she is just bawling. You know, we've lost everything, so on and so forth.
Oh, wow.
You know, 2 hours later, new report comes out and a list of homes that are affected and unaffected. And guess whose home is on the unaffected list?
Theirs?
So, and I'm exaggerating. It was the next day, but it felt like 2 hours later. She calls the next day, just giddy.
Oh.
I mean, watching the emotional roller coaster, right?
Mhm.
I remember after that, I said, may they never handle a fire like this, because it pulls on people's emotions. And so, so now she's giddy. Well, our home survived. Well, ultimately the fire was dashed, if you will. Miraculously, a rain came in. I have friends who are firefighters who said it wasn't in the forecast, and if it had not happened, because temperatures were really high during that time, they would have. One of my friends said we would have lost, hundreds more homes. So now my insured they're able to go back to their home, only to find out every one of their neighbors, except for them, homes burned.
Oh, that's supernatural.
But now a different emotion. Now we have no neighbors.
Oh, that's
Right. So you got to see this low, this really high, and now low again. All of our neighbors are gone.
Oh.
And so, being there, being a place where they were able to kind of sound off on, kind of talking them through. Don't worry, we're going to take care of you. If you've lost your home, we're going to take care of you. Now, of course, in anyone's home, there's some things that are sentimental that you can't replace.
Right.
I'm prime example. A family home from mine back in Wisconsin burned down about 10 years ago, and I have one aunt that kept all of the family photos, all gone.
Oh no!
Right. So listen, there are those things that can't be replaced. But any semblance of being made whole again, any semblance of it is a relief. And being able to be the person that tells someone it's going to be okay. We're going to get you taken care of. And we're going to try to do everything we can to make you whole again.
Oh.
That's worth,
that's comforting.
every moment I spend to my
Oh,
business.
yeah. That's powerful.
Yeah.
How about all the hailstorms
Oh.
that you get? People
Do not get me started. Another thing I didn't experience much of in Wisconsin, because when we lived there, if we had a hailstorm once every 7 years, it was rare. I can only remember one in my entire life, and there's this, probably once every 7 years or so. It's a little more frequent today than it used to be, but here, it's a guarantee. And you don't want to be victim of it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Here we had a couple of really big ones. I think it was 2 years ago, 2018,
we got
in Fountain.
And
And I had clients calling me. I had one client tell me the hail not only it was roughly baseball size. It punctured his roof and the bathtub in his second floor bathroom.
It went right through the
Right
roof.
through.
Wow, that's pretty bad.
And seeing people's, that area of town looked almost like a war zone. I mean, there was, because for some odd reason, and if you're watching this and you live in Fountain, I need you to explain to me why no one in Fountain parks their cars in their garage. But I digress.
I know.
Because every car was destroyed down there, and this storm hit at like 1:30 in the morning, so virtually no one was parked in their garage. It was just
Oh my.
so there's these cars that are just lining the streets because they are destroyed, can't be driven.
Oh wow. That's so you get to comfort your clients.
Yes.
I'm sure some of them you probably pray with them too.
Yeah,
If they
I
let
have
you.
absolutely prayed with clients when they allow me.
When they let you.
I think the vast majority of my clients understand that I am a believer, and I've had clients who may not necessarily be believers, but tell me a situation, and I ask, "Are you okay if I pray about that?"
But how did you start from scratch? Like
Yeah.
you knew nobody. You said no family or anything. So what was going on inside of you? What were you thinking? I'm going to start from nothing.
It is. I do benefit the fact that I had been doing this for 8 years prior to,
Mm-hmm.
and I had actually started my agency from scratch in Wisconsin as well.
Oh,
But of course, I know a lot of people here.
right.
Here I didn't know anyone, but I had developed some things, some systems
Mm-hmm.
that I used in Wisconsin
Oh,
that I was able to kind of take here and transfer. So I found a way to build a couple of really important relationships. And then those relationships really kept me afloat as I built other relationships. And I participate in some small business networking groups, and I do some things to stay in
that's
front of
good.
people. But yes, it was definitely, I would say, if I didn't have experience,
Mhm.
especially during the worst economic, a recession, the worst
Yeah.
economic downturn in my lifetime.
Mhm.
So yeah, God, prayer, and a little experience.
And
All
so the
helps.
system, that's good. That's awesome. And I met you at CFAM, which is called Church for All Nations. So how long have you been going there now?
So we've been there since 2010.
Okay.
And then, as you saw in the other episodes, in 2012, fall 2012, I started my life group around the Constitution. So we've been doing that now 8 years.
You have been doing the U.S. Constitution for 8 years?
Yes.
I thought it was only the last few.
No.
Where have I been?
And it is growing and building.
Oh my
And that thing was completely birthed out of my own ignorance. I mean, I remember sitting there going, watching TV like a lot of people do, hearing our politicians tell us what is and what isn't constitutional. And I remember thinking to myself, I don't even know if they're right or wrong. I probably should find out. And
That's a
that's what
good-
birthed it.
That's a good question. I probably should find out.
Yeah.
You probably should find out. I probably should find out. Thank you so much, Ken.
You're very
I
welcome.
enjoyed
Thank you again for
having
having me.
Oh, you are welcome. I enjoyed having you on the show.
Awesome.
And thank you very much for joining us. This was awesome. All these episodes with Ken, and this one too is how he came here. So please hook up with Kendrick Davis on Facebook. And if you're enjoying these episodes, please subscribe to the channel and share it with a friend. Till next time, have an epic day in the Lord.